I want to welcome you to the Jermaine Brown Show. Tonight we want to talk about the New York Football Jets. Now, a lot of people doesn't understand why Rex Ryan did what he did yesterday when he allowed Geno Smith to go pretty much three quarters, go into pretty much play three quarters, and then put Mark Sanchez in the fourth quarter. Well, we got to understand something, folks. There is a war going on within the Jets organization. John Izek, the GM of the New York Football Jets, drafted Geno Smith. Now, if you understand the history of what's going on here, you would know that Geno Smith is not Rex Ryan's guy. Rex Ryan did not really want Geno Smith. Rex Ryan feels like he's fighting for his job, and so he believes that Mark Sanchez gives him the best chance to win. Now, we got to understand something here, okay, folks? Mark Sanchez did not grab the starting job in the first two preseason games. That's why Geno Smith started the third game. Now, everyone knows I am no fan of Rex Ryan. I think he is a defensive coordinator masquerading as a head football coach. However, I do not fault him for the events that took place last night. Okay? I believe he was told to start Geno Smith. Why do I believe that? Because days before the announcement as to who the starting quarterback was going to be for that Giants game, Mark Sanchez came out and said that they're probably going to go with Geno Smith to start. Now, where did Mark Sanchez get that from? Mark Sanchez didn't just pluck that out of his head. Someone told him privately that they got to play Geno Smith. Now, I personally believe Rex Ryan would have preferred to play Mark Sanchez to start the game and then put Geno Smith as the backup. But I do believe that the GM won out on here and says, no, you're going to start Geno Smith and use Mark Sanchez as the backup. So when Geno Smith had his 3-interception day last night, and to me, in my opinion, he was not good. Okay? He was not good. I wouldn't call it performance brutal, but he was just not good. And then he steps out of bounds. To me, that is the most unforgivable thing a quarterback can do. Because, see, the one thing that all quarterbacks, regardless of what level you play in, is what we call field awareness. You got to know where you're at on the football field. Stepping out of bounds, unless it's by design, committing a safety, stepping at the back of the end zone, unless by design, is a terrible move by a quarterback because it shows that his head is not in the game where it needs to be. But with that being said, he actually didn't play that bad, but he was not good last night. So what Rex Ryan was hoping to do was put Mark Sanchez in there in the fourth quarter and hope that Mark Sanchez would look good enough where he can now go to John Izek and say, see, this is why we need to be playing Mark Sanchez and not playing Geno Smith. Now, unfortunately for Rex Ryan, his plan got blown up because why? Mark Sanchez went out there and he got injured. Now the media wants to climb all over Rex Ryan. But now let's look at this carefully, folks. Before the game, nobody wanted Mark Sanchez on the field. Everybody was like, oh, anybody but Sanchez. Sanchez is not good. Oh, this is Geno Smith's job to win. Okay? Now, John Izek wants Geno Smith to play. Rex Ryan wants Mark Sanchez to play. So the two are butting heads here. And since Mark Sanchez did not grab the job by the throat in the first two preseason games, this opened the door for Geno Smith. So what Rex Ryan was hoping for was that Geno would spit the bit, which is pretty much what he did. He was hoping that Mark Sanchez would go in there in the fourth quarter and save the day, and then he can make his argument that he should be the starter. But by Mark Sanchez getting injured, that pretty much settled the quarterback situation. Geno Smith needs to be your starter. Now, let me say this before I get to the press conference. The best thing that happened, folks, last night was that Mark Sanchez got injured. Now, do not get me wrong. You never want to ever see a player go down with an injury. But here is the thing. We got to stop being short-term minded. If you play, Sanchez is the better quarterback of the two. Let's get that out there, right now. Right here, right now. Let's get that out right here, right now. Sanchez is the better quarterback of the two. But here is the problem. How many games are you going to win with Mark Sanchez? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 games? Okay. What is the problem with that? Here's the problem, folks. That's called mediocre football. Or as my dad would say, mediocre. Mediocre football. The problem with mediocre football is it doesn't allow you to get better. If you really want to improve your team, you have to either be really, really good or really, really bad. You never want to be in between. And that's the problem with being mediocre. You're in between. You're good enough not to be bad. You're bad enough not to be good. That doesn't make for a long-term situation. This is why Geno Smith must start. I don't care how good he looks. I don't care how bad he looks. You drafted him in the second round. You need to find out. And you want to give him all 16 games to find this out, barring injury, of course. But you want to give him all 16 games to find out whether he is your quarterback moving forward, or do you need to put yourself in a position where you go get yourself a Teddy Bridgewater or Johnny Manziel or one of those other top flight quarterbacks. Okay? You need to find this out. The only way you're going to find this out is by playing Geno Smith, folks. Not playing Mark Sanchez. John Idzik is not out there trying to win games right now. What John Idzik is trying to do is find out about the future with this team, particularly Geno Smith. Now, I know as players and as coaches, you're trying to win every game you can, especially Rex Ryan because he's in a lame duck year. But that's Rex Ryan's problem. If I'm John Idzik, I'm not trying to go out there and win games today. I'm trying to find out about Geno Smith. Because I need to know, do I need to keep Geno Smith, or do I need to go and get myself another quarterback? The only way I'm going to know that is by playing him. I don't need Mark Sanchez to go out there and win me 6 or 7 games. That does not help me moving forward. And that's what Mark Sanchez is good enough to do, get you 6 or 7 victories. But that's not going to help me moving forward. Now, let me get to that press conference. The media was out of line. The man, just because the man didn't answer the question the way you like, does not mean he didn't answer the question. When you asked him, does Geno have a chance to start? He told you that Geno has a chance to start when he said, and I quote, the competition is still open. They're not making a decision yet. So what does that tell you, folks? Let's use common sense here. Rex Ryan was exasperated. He could not believe that Mark Sanchez went out there and got injured. Now, let me tell you what Rex Ryan wanted to say in that interview, but could not. Look, I don't want to play Geno Smith. This is the GM's call here. Okay? I wanted to go with Mark Sanchez. However, Sanchez didn't grab the job by the throat in the first 2 games. And by not grabbing the job by the throat in the first 2 games, I could not justify putting him as the starter for game 3 of this preseason and anointing him as the starter for the regular season. So I had to now acquiesce to my GM and give Geno Smith an opportunity. And Geno basically did not play well. And by putting Mark Sanchez into that fourth quarter, I was hoping Mark Sanchez would have played well. So this way I can then make a case for Mark Sanchez being the starter in week 1. But unfortunately, he got injured. So that screws up my plans. All right? That's what Rex Ryan wanted to say in that interview, but couldn't. He could not go a week or two and not play Mark Sanchez. So that was not an option. And the people were like, well, why was he in there in the fourth quarter? Well, folks, when was Mark Sanchez going to play? If he didn't play in that fourth quarter, when was he going to play? You're not going to play him in the fourth preseason game. That makes no sense. If he's your potential starter, even though I don't believe he should be starting. You gave him 4 years to get the chance to win this job, and if he hasn't won it in 4 years, what makes me think he's going to win it in his 5th? Okay? Geno Smith needs to start no matter what happens. And if Rex Ryan really wanted to save his job, what Rex Ryan needs to do at this point is sit down with Geno Smith and have what we call a heart-to-heart talk with him, where he basically laid it out on the line and said, look, it's in both of our best interests that you play well. Because if you play well, the team has a chance to win games, and I can make an argument as to why I need to stay here. If you don't play well, the team is going to lose games, and then I'm going to be out of here. So I need to work with you. We need to bury the hatchet and work together. Now, Geno Smith will have no choice but to acquiesce to his head coach, even if he doesn't like him, because why? Geno Smith's job is on the line. Because they're evaluating him to determine whether they need to go get their quarterback of the future or is he already on the roster. So Geno Smith have an incentive to play well. So he cannot try to play poorly despite the head coach here, because that would not reflect well on Geno Smith. And I would sit down with Geno, watch the tape and say, see, this is why, son, you was drafted in the 2nd round. These are mistakes you should not be making here. Boom, boom, boom. Right here. So that's what I would do if I was Rex Ryan. Work with the young man. That's the best way to do it. We'll be right back.